besties, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be doing a part 2 of our little series that we're doing here on this channel, which is so wild because we normally just do, you know, like our quick snappy videos and that's us done. But we are actually doing like a little mini series on this channel inspired by Insider, because two amazing journalists at Insider, one being Madison Hall, who this is, you know, her work, and then Kat also worked on it. Kat, we love you too. Madison Hall, love you bitch. So she did this article where she's talking about the cancellations on YouTube and, you know, cancel culture and the people who are at, like, you know, the top of it, like Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Tana Mojo, Jeffree Star, Shane Dawson. Sounds like I'm fucking rapping, freestyling here. But an article on that and like who's affected by it, who gains by it, who loses by it. And it's a really interesting series that they invited me on so graciously, and they interviewed me over Zoom. Madison actually did. And it was really nice to talk to her and just give her my opinions on stuff. And what we're doing is we're going through the different articles and reading them and talking about the things that kind of happened and, you know, just adding my own comments to it. So the article will be linked below. This one is about Logan Paul, Jake Paul, and Tana Mojo. And my comments are in this one, and it's super exciting. And I get so grateful every time anyone on Insider just wants to, you know, keep me on for like a comment or, you know, involve me in something. I love you all over in Insider and thank you for that, but let's get into it, okay? Part 1 will also be linked below, besties. You know the drill.
By the way, you should really follow me on TikTok. My username is @AdamMcIntyre with an underscore at the end, and my profile picture is Kylie Minogue because I'm secretly undercover in that account. So please go follow for a good time. Bye, bestie.
So while the first one was about James Charles, Jeffree Star, Shane Dawson, and Taddy Westbrook, and how James Charles overtook all of them motherfuckers, this one is about how Jake and Logan Paul thrive on controversy and avoid cancellation. Now, I had a lot of opinions about this, so here we see them. Don't they both just look musty? I hate to say it. No, you're gonna come for me, but I'm just saying what we're all thinking. You can say I look musty, but girl, they look musty. And Jake Paul offended me with his Ireland video, so I don't care. I'm coming for him. So it says that YouTube stars Logan and Jake Paul have been in controversy for the better part of the last decade, which really just shows that they're in this together, but I believe that they've both taken two different paths and are both kind of looked at in two different ways now, which I've made very clear whenever I was adding comments to this. It says, at times, both brothers have faced intense, you know, backlash for their antics, from Logan's infamous, you know, forest video where he filmed a body. He went to Japan's forest and filmed a body and was acting shocked that he found it and put it on YouTube, and it was just, that was disgusting, and I can't believe that that was allowed on YouTube. Can we? Okay. Video that appeared to show, you know, a dead body, to Jake's appearance at a mall that showed him looting and, you know, an FBI raided his house, which they both look at now in such a, that happened to us, you know, that was such a big part of our controversy. Like, this is not something that I would look at either of those things as, funny, I was cancelled for that. I'd be like, let me evaluate my fucking life. Especially just, no, I'm not even gonna pick out one of them. Both of them. They were both fucking... Despite their vocal detractions, data analyzed by Insider shows that the brothers have maintained consistent growth in their YouTube, arguably fueled by their controversies. And this kind of goes on with, are people, you know, helped by controversies? Are they not helped? Does it ruin their public image? Does it help their public image? Does it push them more into mainstream? Does it, you know, put them away from mainstream? There's so many different angles and so many different YouTubers affected by this in different ways, some positive and some not. It's interesting. And now Madison has actually included a quote by Logan Paul from 2018. He said, "Good luck trying to cancel me." A literal quote by this man. He told The Hollywood Reporter in 2018. So this is the attitude of people that we have here. This is the damn attitude. Good luck trying to cancel me. This is what we're dealing with. Let me ask the audience. You know. So this statement, the good luck trying to cancel me, came months after Paul, who now has 22 million subscribers. It just embarrasses me that these two men have so many subscribers, but you know what? Okay. Posted his infamous, you know, forest video in December of 2017, which appeared to show a body, and just the contents of the video were absolutely fucking revolting, insensitive, and just disgusting. And so after that, he said that good luck trying to cancel me. I thought he said that before, but it makes it even worse that he said that after. After he did all the shitty apologies, you know what I mean? Notes apology, video apology, good luck trying to cancel me. This is, again, what we're dealing with. So this resulted in his channel temporarily being demonetized by YouTube. Now, we're seeing that YouTube never fully demonetized channels. They did this with Shane, you know, they demonetized him over summer because of backlash. Now, there's sneakily ads on his videos again, and they did this with Logan Paul, so I mean, I don't know what YouTube's approach on this is. I think it's kind of just they let the community sort it out or whatever. I don't know. So the article goes on to say that it's actually pretty interesting that Logan Paul said good luck trying to cancel me, because it kind of has been that. You know, he's had controversies here and there since the Forest video, and he's never really been cancelled, or at least affected by it in a bad way. It's kind of each time helped his growth. And I do want to throw something in that I believe that cancellation, for the weirdest factor, a man and a woman YouTuber, not to bring in, like, you know, the sex thing here, but if there's a man and a woman, they do the same thing, for some reason it seems that the man will get away with so much more than the woman, and the woman will have it held against her for longer, and kind of just, you know, this is something I have a real big problem with. Like, Logan Paul does all this and did the good luck trying to cancel me. If a woman said that, she'd be blacklisted. But he said it, and he's a, you know, a boss. Like, ooh, alpha. That never sits right with me. So it's just, again, saying that, you know, he did make a fair point by saying that, you know, good luck trying to cancel me, because it seems that he is uncancelable, as well as his brother. It goes on to describe cancel culture, basically that it's a rarely, you know, new phenomenon on trying to hold people accountable for their problematic behaviors. But in the case of these two guys, they just kind of like letting it happen, you know, doing stuff to get attention, then just fucking off and, you know, not dealing with it, or like making fun of people who want them to take accountability. So, I mean, this is their attitude, and people are like, oh, they're so funny because they don't. So, I mean, this is, again, what we're dealing with here. So here we have a graph. I love the graphs that Madison has actually included in this. It says the subscriber growth of the Paul brothers on YouTube. So the orange is Logan Paul's subscribers, and the blue is Jake Paul's. So as we can see, the blue is, you know, here, it goes up, it goes up, it goes up, but he never, ever has surpassed Logan Paul in subscribers, which is definitely interesting. Logan Paul has always just been, as you can see here, like a little bit ahead of him. He's never once surpassed him. So Logan Paul goes up, he goes up, and now Logan Paul, as we can see, is just like demolishing Jake Paul in terms of gaining subscribers. But that doesn't mean that Jake Paul isn't gaining subscribers. It just means that Logan Paul is doing it at a fairly quicker rate. Now, again, it goes on the article, and we are going to read that, but I believe it's because Jake Paul caters himself, like, his personality to such a younger audience, but his themes are so adult, so he, like, isolates an entire, like, genre of people to watch his videos, where Logan Paul, in my opinion, is a lot more smarter as a business point of view, that he's kind of matured himself and his content, so people, you know, can enjoy him at different ages, even young and older. So I think that's the difference, and why we're probably seeing that Logan Paul can still take off, and Jake Paul, he's not stagnant, but he's just not what his brother is whenever they're both kind of doing the same old shit. And I think what's definitely interesting is that in December 2017, Logan Paul releases the Japanese Forest video, and he never lost subscribers. I'm very confused at this. That was such a horrible thing, and he was getting really called out for during that time, and news articles were, you know, like getting him interviewed, and he was getting called out on them. Like, everyone was against this man, but seemingly this has just helped him. If this happened here, look at the growth since that. December, he posted the video right here, and he didn't lose anything, he didn't stay stagnant, he literally just gained. And then it says, February 2017, YouTube suspends Logan's ad revenue for 2 weeks, only 2 weeks, and bans him from the trending page for 90 days. Both brothers announced future boxing plans. So that was around this time. So even here, he was still gaining. This did quite halt him, but I believe the reason this halted him was because he wasn't uploading videos during this time, because he wasn't making videos on it, because YouTube demonetized him. But still, it's very interesting that not only was he still gaining more than his brother, he was just rapidly still gaining. Like, he's gaining more here than what his brother's doing now. And that was seemingly just that the controversy with that Forest video, that disgusting video, helped him so much. And when we look at it, whenever he posted that Forest video, he had 14 million subscribers, and then whenever he took his little YouTube break, he had 16 million. So he gained within that time and was nearly at 17 million. So it's also very interesting that he just gained, he gained 18 million, 19, and then it says that in January 2020, Jake Paul's first professional boxing match. So that was around this date, and he had 19 million. But he was never, like, having a spike because of this. Like, he was still pretty, for announcing his first boxing, it's pretty stagnant here. Considering that Logan Paul did the worst things, and it was just, like, it's almost saying that if you do the worst, you'll be rewarded. Which is so not the attitude, and is why probably we get to talk about so many people on here, because, you know, at the end of the day, this is seemingly good for them, or whatever attitude this is. So that's definitely an interesting graph. So it says that Logan Paul's following skyrocketed after his most controversial video. So it says that he never experienced like negativity surrounding this in terms of his growth, which again, this is just subscribers. You can imagine views during this time. He was gaining so much money. Not even including sponsorships, but just ad revenue alone. Since the creation of Logan's main channel in 2013, he's never had a month where he's lost more subscribers than he's gained. Now keep in mind all the things this motherfucker has done. So that's really telling that for some reason, you know, the cancel culture of people, you know, being mad at this person or, you know, trying to make a stance against them has never worked just for these two, you know, creators, which is, it's really wild, isn't it? Which is definitely interesting, and I'm glad they covered this. And it goes on to say that Logan's career on YouTube has, you know, just been him being, you know, controversial and, you know, conflicting with things, and people must at least love that if, like, he's just non-stop growing, and it's, like, confusing. And it's like, it's working for him and his brother, but why is it working more for him? Let's go on. Now keep in mind, Logan and Jake Paul came over from Vine, so they had that built-in audience anyway, and maybe just the Forest video gave him more audience, but why did people watch that video and be like, I want to support this creator? That's weird to me. That's really weird. So it's basically saying that despite the negative press of, you know, the week of posting that Forest video, he gained 80,000 subscribers in the week following it, and he was removed from Google's, you know, preferred ad revenue program, but he was still gaining and doing well, which is, again, weird, and we never see that happening. So here we have tweets from YouTube when this happened, January 8th and January 9th. It says, we expect more of the creators who build their community on YouTube, as you're sure you do as well. This channel violated our community guidelines, we acted accordingly, and we're looking at further consequences. Now keep in mind, 2 weeks later, he was seemingly remonetized, right? It's taken us a long time to respond, but we've been listening to everything you've been saying. We know that the actions of one creator can affect the entire community, so we'll have more to share soon on steps we're taking to ensure a video like this is never circulated again. And then in February 2018, YouTube suspended Logan's channel for his pattern of behavior following his encouragement of his followers for the Tide Pod challenge, which was just eating Tide Pods. Again, okay, he was still gaining during this time. And then the article goes on to say that since then, however, Logan Paul has rebranded himself in a very smart way. He now has a podcast called Impulsive. It's very high budget, good production, and he's really been getting a lot of viral moments on the likes of Twitter for people saying that he's really woke and he's, you know, speaking up in defense of, you know, a lot of people, and people like him on this. They're seeing a different side of him. He's really rebranded himself well, which is why I believe that he's taking off and Jake isn't, because Jake has almost got more like catering to children but being really weirdly like sexual content, and like that's a big no for like most people, while Logan Paul is now what I would look at as a more mature YouTuber because he just does his podcast and he's not really in controversies since like 2018, like maybe 2019. So Jake Paul has been the opposite. Jake Paul has been, you know, news story, marrying Tana Mojo, you know, all this drama. So there's a difference and a divide there. So it says that since he was temporarily suspended from YouTube, he took up boxing and created his own podcast series, Impulsive. In 2020 alone, he's gained over 2.5 million subscribers on YouTube. And then it goes, according to Adam McIntyre, girl, that's me, a YouTuber whose channel focuses on drama within the YouTube community. Hey besties! Logan's dialed down antics have played a large role in, you know, getting his image back. He noted that Logan has done a better job, that's me, at this than his younger brother Jake. So a quote from me, oh my god, you're gonna read me one of my quotes. Like, I'm gonna read you what I read as one of my quotes. So, from Adam McIntyre. He's been able to rebrand himself with the podcast in a more mature version of himself, McIntyre said, and so he is the biggest evolution, in my opinion, out of both of them, because people can look at him and be like, oh, he actually has changed, which I just said to you. Then it goes on to say that Jake Paul has maintained an in-your-face reputation, and his platform is still growing, but I do have to note, at a slower pace. So it says that Jake Paul, the younger brother, has, you know, been in even more controversy than his older brother. Like Logan, he was a Vine star. And remember, in early 2017, he launched Team 10? What a mess. Team 10 was basically a bunch of young influencers together just doing dumb shit and, you know, fucking lighting things on fire and being reckless and just annoying their neighbors and just being in a mansion. It was just awful. It's like what the Hype House and shit are now, but just they're more dialed down versions of it. Well, I mean, they're both bad. Hype House are like super spreaders during a worldwide pandemic, and then the Team 10 was just lighting their fucking house on fire. Like, I mean, pick your struggles. These are the people y'all let succeed. So one of his first controversies was that following the Team 10, you know, like resurrection or whatever the fuck, like fucking whenever they're made, like, yeah, erection. I hate that word. It says that he was accused of, you know, making his neighbor's life a hell, you know, by lighting things on fire, partying loud, and just not working with them at all, and making the neighborhood a war zone. Former members of the collective say they faced homophobic abuse, bullying, transphobia, most of which Paul's team have disputed. So that was one of the first controversies, on YouTube at least. And now the difference with Logan is, at times where, you know, Logan will never, like, lose more than he gains, Jake has lost more than he gains, but he always comes back up again. So it's like momentarily, people are like pissed off in the moment, and then he gains up again. So it says about how he would dip in followers and dip in subscribers whenever, you know, the Tana Mojo wedding was happening and the boxing was first announced. I think with people just being pissed off with him in general and just pushing him, being over the top and obnoxious, and so I think that, but still, he was still gaining as well, and like the next month he would gain more than he lost, so it was never really set in stone that he was losing. So Tana Mojo, you know, a YouTube creator and influencer is what they say here, I would describe her in a very different way, began dating Jake in April 2019 before the two were married. Yep. In a $500,000 non-legally binding ceremony. What a waste of money. So then in December, 5 months later, they called it quits, but it was basically just them being a couple, being loud, being obnoxious, being very just over the top, and they were just doing it for hype and for fucking clickbait, whatever. And so here we have, you know, the timeline of Tana Mojo's subscribers, because she's really now involved in the Jake Paul's YouTube career, whether she wanted to or not. I believe she does, because she still fucking leeches onto him for no reason, because she has more clout. But here we go, it says, June 22, you know, TanaCon happened. She didn't lose subscribers at all, she was gaining, which is so weird. And then it goes, early April 2019, Mojo begins dating Jake Paul, and then she marries him, so she gained from here where Jake Paul lost. And then it goes that she divorced Paul, and she did, you know, better after this. And I think Tana Mojo is rebranding herself nowadays more so than what she did back then. So it'll be interesting to, you know, see her subscribers now. I think this is actually of that. Yeah, she's gaining more nowadays, and I think that's because she's being a little bit more smart with her YouTube, because she's going back to story times and she's doing what her subscribers actually want to see. But even whenever she was doing stuff they didn't want to see, like marrying Jake Paul, the clout was really doing her good, and she had the MTV show that was basically, you know, following the Jake Paul wedding. So she was definitely trying to break out into mainstream during that time, and so I don't know how it worked because the MTV show got scrapped, so, I mean, she tried. So it says about how Jake Paul has been throwing nothing but large parties during the coronavirus pandemic, calling COVID-19 a hoax, by the way. And then he was looting stores in the mall, and then he had the FBI raid at his house. Like, he had a lot happen just over this summer. And now I just want to finish off by saying they're both, you know, focusing on the boxing now. And it is still working out more for Logan Paul, even though Jake is being more in your face about it. He wants to fight Conor McGregor. He's, you know, posting these aggressive videos, trying to, like, you know, trigger these boxers to fight with him, whatever, for clout. But Logan Paul's kind of sitting back and letting it happen, and it's working out better for him. I don't know, I think Jake just needs to be loud to kind of get some sort of clout, but it's obviously working more in his brother's favor, just sitting back and just being more mature and having the podcast and doing boxing. And it's like, I particularly don't like either of these men. You can have your own opinion. I want to know what your overall analysis is of this, that they're never affected by being called out or doing horrible things. You know what I mean? Like, they're always gaining, or even if they don't, the next month they'll, you know, surpass that. I want to know what your opinion is and why they're so different than everyone else. Because if anyone else did what they did, they would be gone. You know what I mean? So let me know what your opinion is. I'll see you in my next one. Thank you, Madison, again, for including me in this. The article will be linked below. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.